Alright guys, so today we're going to do a quick video giving you my first impressions of Hogwarts Legacy. Don't worry, it will be totally spoiler free. I've played the game now for a good 10 hours over the course of a couple of days. We did stream it obviously over on Twitch. If you want to check me out on Twitch, you'll find that in the description also. What I thought I'd do is I'll go through the positives first and then go through the negatives. So let's jump in. First of all, it goes without saying that this game is absolutely stunning. But what I want to draw your attention to is the level of detail in the environments themselves, particularly the common room. Well, I only went into the Gryffindor common room, but as you can see, there's so many like moving pictures, Quidditch team posters, elaborate tapestries, miscellaneous clutter like broomsticks, coat racks, chairs, owl cages, and altogether it makes the game feel very, very realistic and incredibly immersive. In fact, this is the most immersive game I have played for a very long time. Every Harry Potter fan like me is going to be drooling more than Leonardo DiCaprio drooling at a 22-year-old woman. By the way guys, we are so close to getting 1,000 subscribers on my channel. Pretty sure we're like 40 subs away, so do me a huge solid, hit that sub button. But anyway, let's carry on with the video. I can also now conclude that the combat is fun. It is very fast paced with an engaging skill ceiling. When I first did the dual quest, I ended up being sent to the hospital wing in a matchbox. I am playing on the hardest difficulty menu, so it's taken me a while to pick up the combat systems. But it's quite simple. Enemies have different coloured shields and you have to use different coloured spells to break those shields. You can also dodge and use your own shield spell, which is obviously going to be called Protego. There's a spider sense circle kind of thing that appears above your head when you need to use Protego, and you need to hold it down if you want to get a counter spell that turns it into a stun. And then when you're taking on big monsters, this is when it goes Dark Souls style, because a red circle will appear above your head, meaning that you can't use Protego, you actually have to dodge the attack. The game also focuses on spell combos to deal extra damage, so it's a little Street Fighter in that respect. Character customization is very extensive, particularly when you're obviously making your character for the first time. I made the effort to make my character look somewhat like me, and I think most people probably will be able to near enough achieve that. It won't look exactly like you obviously, but you can get pretty close. I've already been playing the game for a short while and I've already picked up a number of cool looking cosmetic items, so it seems like there's going to be a lot in this game, and the ability to choose the appearance of every item individually is an absolute godsend, because you no longer have to be forced to equip gear that's good that looks bad, because you can just change it to look like whatever you want it to look like, and you can do it from the menu. You don't have to go to somewhere to do this. The story so far does have me hooked. The characters and the voice acting feels realistic. It's great when games feel like you're watching a film, and this game definitely ticks that box. There's also a lot of returning and iconic characters from the Harry Potter series or their ancestors. There is some issues that I have with the story, however, so let's move on now to the negatives. So first of all, your character, your main character that being, is an absolute Gary Stew. If you don't know what I mean by that, imagine Rey from Star Wars being able to use Force powers without any training. The game has set up the logic that you are a 5th year student without any magical training. Therefore, you are 5 years behind all other students. Apart from the fact that Professor Fig has taught you some of the basics before you go to Hogwarts. So you'd expect the game to be somewhat grounded and realistic and respectful of this logic. As someone who is so behind on your magical training, you would need to spend more time in classes, learning from teachers, and doing duels with other students, or taking on smaller enemies like the little garden gnomes from the old games, or pixies, or maybe even, the Cornish pixies, or even like some basic wolves in the Forbidden Forest, but no. Instead, on day 2, you're taking on a fully armoured troll, and it's an epic boss battle. Now, don't get me wrong, this fight was really fun and cool, but it felt like it happened way too early in the game. I shouldn't be able to take on big trolls with my magical ability at this point, because I basically don't have any. I know in the lore of Harry Potter, trolls are supposed to be pretty stupid, but this troll is actually under the control of a dark wizard. I mean, I've only been taught how to cast Lumos and Accio at this point, so I'm just there telling the game to calm down. The main character has this natural affinity with this unknown ancient magical power that we are learning about through the main storyline, and to be honest, as much as I am interested to find out what's actually going on or what it's going to turn out to be, it's giving me huge, cringy, Chosen One, Dragonborn vibes. Not to mention how all of the other characters brown-nose your character because you're somehow better than everyone else in your class despite being 5 years behind everyone else. What would have been more realistic is you turn up to class, you do these challenges, you get absolutely owned by the other students, and then those students are nice to you and help you improve. But that doesn't happen. You wipe the floor with all of these 5th year students and then they start worshipping you. Power fantasy can be a massive issue in many video games. They just give the player too much power too soon in the game. A player should feel like he's earned the power and not just been spoon-fed it. The Witcher 1 does this perfectly. You start the game with a crap sword, you don't even get your silver sword until later on in the storyline, you have scruffy pants and a t-shirt with very basic knowledge of being a Witcher. The best RPGs start you off as an absolute ragamuffin nobody and slowly build you up to become a heroic warrior as the story progresses, instead of just giving you insane power early on. At this point, we may as well be Captain Marvel, a strong female character straight out of Hollywood. I know that the game still has a sense of progression, because you still need to level up and unlock talents and new spells, but this Dragonborn Chosen One model is just really cringy writing at this point in 2023. It really does just feel like a plot device to make your character at the centre of a narrative and feel important. But have video game writers ever considered that we don't want to be important and be at the centre of everyone's attention for absolutely no reason? You know, we want to work to become important to the world around us. We want to build a little bit of status by accomplishing achievements before everyone thinks we're God's gift to the wizarding world. Maybe this is just me and the vast majority of people don't care whether your character is a god from day one, despite having as much magical talent as Professor Lockhart, but to me, it's just a little bit disappointing to see such a cliché protagonist, especially as an adaptation to the most successful book franchise of all time. It's too bad they couldn't get J.K. Rowling to write the story for the game. But she's probably too busy trying to deodorize the smell of turds from her front porch because transgender activists keep mailing her mysterious shoe boxes. As a side note, it's actually quite funny how much fake news has spread about poor J.K. Rowling recently just because this game has been released, even though she has basically nothing to do with it. It's just an adaptation of her work. Let me know in the comment section if you want to, want me to make a video covering that topic. And now the last negative thing we have to talk about the game is optimization for PC users. This truly is a magical game because when you boot the game on Steam, it casts a transfiguration spell on your PC and turns it into a toaster. So I have a 4070 Ti and an 8-core CPU clocked at 3.7 GHz. I run the game at 2K resolution on Ultra, no RTX or anything, and I get 40 FPS in Hogsmeade and 60 FPS everywhere else. And the funny thing is, when I turn the graphics down, even the resolution down to 1080p, it literally makes no difference to the performance. When I look at how much my hardware is actually being utilised, my GPU is at 60%, CPU around the same, and my RAM is nowhere near maxed. I've done a little research and I'm not the only one having these issues. People with 4090s and 16-core CPUs are also having issues. So what is going on here? Is it because our muggle computers need to be enchanted by a wizard to run this game, or is it badly optimised? Well, I think it's pretty obvious what's going on here, guys. It's a bad port. The optimisation of this game is terrible, and there will likely be a patch coming out soon to remedy that. Hopefully, anyway. Does this mean that your older GPUs will struggle to run the game? Well, it actually doesn't, because even if you have a 3060, you're probably going to get not that much difference to the FPS of what you would get with a 4070 Ti. Like, I've seen people running this game at 1060 with obviously slightly less FPS, but there isn't that much difference because there's something definitely going wrong with the game. A lot of people are theory crafting that it has something to do with the CPU processing all of the different NPCs in Hogsmeade, and that's why like the FPS drops a lot in Hogsmeade, and when in Hogwarts it's not so bad because Hogwarts is more phased. You'll notice this when you're going through doors, the game will do a little mini load screen, so maybe that's why it's not so bad in Hogwarts. But yeah, something's definitely going wrong here. But anyway guys, that's where I'm going to end the video there. My name is Metagoblin, until the next video, ciao.